riddle on the screen and a bop in the beat. Crystal's got a theory and she's bringing the heat. With a playlist rolling and a case to crack, she's digging through the weird and she ain't looking back. Crystal's crime and music. Hey, hey, hey. Word little whispers and a beat that slays. She's grooving through the rumors, dancing through the doubt. Hop on the stream and help her figure it out. She's got headphones on and snacks in hand. She's sleuthing in slippers, ain't it grand? Crimes and chords, it's a curious mix, but she'll remix that mystery just for kicks. Crystal's crime and music, let's roll. Talking strange old stories with a heart and soul. From cryptic clues to a disco track, she's chasing down weirdness and never looks back. She don't solve crimes, just talks and vibes with a keyboard click and detective drive. She's got music moods and wild ideas and a soft spot for victims through the years. Is that a ghost? Or just bad Wi-Fi? Did that dude lie? Or is it all a sigh? Whatever the twist, Crystal's on the screen with a snack, a song, and a mystery meme. So grab your tea and your favorite chair. She's cracking up theories out of thin air. One part groove, one part hum. It's Crystal's show, let's have some fun. Crystal's crime and music, tune it loud, where the silly gets spooky and the beats are proud. She's laughing, guessing, and spilling the tea. Come vibe with the queen of crime and melody.
Stay at 9 o'clock, jump on my panel. 9 or 10. I'm always late.
Okay, so hold on, my buddy's just sitting there messaging. So Lisa K ran off. Let's figure out what we're going to be doing. Okay, so Tuesday at 9 or 10, if I can come up on your panel. What are we doing? What kind of panel is this? I really don't want to get into the Summer Well stuff. I really don't.
You just said you would go through the contents of that folder that Kathy gave you.
What is it? Well, the folder, I mean, all it was in it was the folder was like a map and some stuff like that. That was it. It was really it.
Hello. So, the reason I'm going over this is because I find Ziggy's relationship with certain creators extremely funny. Especially when you bring the psychic part of it into it. Because Ernie, when he came out here with Lady what's the one that was on Mystery Angels? Lady Justice, something Justice, there's 3 of them. Now I'm a little confused. But the one that came on and said that she'd seen Candace in the woods this summer. The probation officer, or Bill Bond Smith, which, by the way, I found some info on that yesterday. But what we're listening to here is Ernie telling me that he has to go through Ziggy. Ziggy was in the chat at the time, telling Ernie he's not allowed to talk to me. He's not allowed to come on my panel. And Ernie was telling me, oh, you're right, I have to check in with Ziggy. Why is that? And then he deleted this. He said, oh, I'm going to have to delete this. And he did. Dumbass. I grabbed it right after I got off the panel. I knew you wouldn't quit immediately after I got down. So I hurried up and went and recorded all the things I needed. This is only a portion. There's some other things we're going to go over eventually in this. But for right now, this is what we're going to listen to. It's a 6-minute long video. So let's listen to how Ziggy is Ernie's handler.
Okay, so can we see it?
I don't have it.
You said you did.
That was years ago.
was last year. But
Also, this stems from another live. We're not listening to this part right now. This is something I'm going to go over soon. The folder that Ernie said he had, that he was driving from Kentucky to meet with the Kathy, to meet Dusty at the raceway, and he was picking up folders with information in it about the hotels. Now, Ernie was supposed to give me that information a year ago, and he never did. But here he's telling me that this was years ago. He don't have it no more. What information was given to you, Ernie? We'll talk about that more another night.
okay.
I
Well,
don't
if you
know.
ever
I'll do that stuff. You know, look, the thing about this with summer wells, everybody, look, I've already been questioned so many times. I mean, I'm just wanting to get out of that. Like I said, I think something's going to happen.
I forgot what was all in here. Yeah, we're going to listen to this part and talk about this too. He's been questioned so many times. He doesn't want to talk about it no more. He's been questioned by Lawson, others. Just listen. Listen to how many he's been questioned by.
Why do you think they question you so much?
Because he's fucking bullshit.
There you go.
No, do they think you're a suspect?
Crystal, he said it himself. He said he's a liar for hire. Those are words out of Ernie's mouth.
Do you think that Hawkins County and TBI think you're a suspect?
Well, I mean, Hawkins County does probably, but TBI don't.
Why do you think they think that?
Well, I mean, I don't know. I mean, probably because
it takes him longer to chew because of there's not as many teeth. There's only 1/3 of the teeth, Crystal. So you got to give him time.
I'm gonna whoop her ass.
So that is what I would like to talk to you on Wednesday about. Can we do that?
I mean, we can talk about whatever y'all want to talk about. Let me see something right here.
Why do you think this county considers you a suspect?
Do I think what?
Why do you think Hawkins County considers you a suspect? Can we have
Because me and Ronnie don't get along.
All right, but can we talk about that on Wednesday? Because I got to jump off.
So, Ernie, we know you worked at the Hay House, right? Why don't you tell us why you and Ronnie don't get along? Because there was some fishy shit at that Hay House. We'll go over that again one night, too, right? Like people being fired and the ship being shut down. And, like, you were pretty intertwined with all these people, even though that was in Kingsport. Lawson's in Hawkins County. So I would like for you to elaborate why on you and Lawson don't get along. I think that's a stupid reason for you to be questioned in Summer's case. And the fact that you, as a creator, are being as questioned as you are, because you're saying they questioned you a lot. So much so you don't even want to deal with the Summer Wells case no more. Right? Make that make sense. How do you and Ronnie know each other, Ernie? What do you mean Ronnie don't like you? Why?
Okay.
Are you going to grab a link on Wednesday? Do you hear him? Because last time he said he would, he didn't.
Oh my God. Okay, so Wednesday at what time?
Between 9 and 10.
9 and 10 Eastern time, right?
Tuesday, not Wednesday.
Tuesday. Okay, well, let's see.
Look at Ziggy. Look, Ziggy's in here acting like she's your mama. She's saying she'll make sure you're there, laughing. Like
well, Ziggy, I've known Ziggy. So here's the thing. With Ziggy part, look, here's the thing. A lot of these YouTubers, we met each other, we talked to each other. I ain't never met her like real life or nothing like that, but we talked and stuff.
Go to tell you not to grab a link? Like, does she roll you like?
So I don't know if it's in here. Hi, Joe. Whatever. Poop Joe, Trophy Joe, Game Over Joe. Please stop spamming my shit. Anyways, I'll time you out. Okay. We're doing that because we ain't getting derailed today, Ernie's people. Okay. So, something else that he spoke about. Fuck, I forget now. Hold on. Derailed. Story of my life. Let me go back a minute.
We talked to each other. I ain't never met.
Clark. He was extremely curious about the name Brenda Clark I asked him about. And then when I told him Ziggy and Brenda were neighbors, I don't know if it's in here. Like they lived in the same community. And Brenda was married to Pete Clark, Glenda Head's first old man. Baby daddy, Brandon Clark. Yeah. Just thought I'd throw that out there. Warsaw, Indiana, Ziggy. Where you at, bitch? Grab a link. Little mishandler. I appreciate you doing a lie detector test, though, and I'm not even going to attack Share for it because I personally gave my thoughts on it last time. Is it a good idea? Probably not, but the case has been so hindered. At this point, who gives a fuck? Anything might be a tool to help, and I think I want to see if you show up for it or what the results are. Because now you're going around saying and lying about what a no opinion result means. Right? What does it really mean, Ziggy? Again, for another live. Would I say 3 more subjects? It's crazy. I can't even put 2 thoughts together to make a video to come live because there's so much to cover. Especially now since Benny's came back.
Her like real life or nothing like that, but we talked.
She able to tell you not to grab a link? Like, does she roll you like that?
Okay, well,
She's
hold on a second.
interactive. Can tell you not to grab a link somewhere.
Okay. With Ziggy, look
at her. She's over and she rules you. She's your boss.
Well, I wouldn't say she rules me, but I would say she does know a lot about me, and she does help me with stuff. She does help me with certain things.
So, break the suspect, and you can't grab a link because Ziggy tells you not to grab a link. What does that make?
Well, it don't make me a suspect no more. No, I've been cleared. Been cleared a lot. But I'll tell you,
Ziggy doesn't grab a link now on my channel on Tuesday. I'm going to make sure I show all of this, okay? So everybody can see how you rule the other YouTubers because I feel you're sus. But okay, peace and love.
Let me talk to her before. Wait a minute, before you start putting out important information there, Ziggy. You can't. She's gonna put out important information on us. You gotta be cool. And this is fucking live. I might have to cancel all this shit right now. I don't even.
I gotta be honest. I don't understand how it takes 30 fucking minutes on panel to schedule something with you, dude. Crystal's sitting here trying to fucking schedule this shit for 30 fucking minutes.
Hold up. I know how to make an entrance. I'll hop out the truck in the fur with some henchmen. You
pull this live.
Huh? I gotta get rid of this live. Too much.
Why?
Well, I don't know. For a second, I mean, I thought it was, it is, but then Ziggy comes and I got to do this and that. So, Crystal, is she on my payroll?
No, are you on hers? Because she's telling you what to do and you're saying you have to listen.
Well, I mean, she has helped me make a little bit of money here. I just got to be careful with what I do.
Okay. You don't have to delete your live. I gotta go. I got babies. Thank you for having me.
Thank you. I appreciate you, Crystal. Thank you for coming up. And
if you want to grab a link on Wednesday,
I'll think about it. I'll think about it and talk to Ziggy and other people, my other handlers and stuff, and I'll figure it out.
I messed something up. I was trying to put a piece of this on one. Hold on. I still didn't share it. Never mind. We ain't gonna do it. But anyways, I went over the Ernie shit here. This is just part of my conversation with Ernie. I do plan and intend on going over the rest of it because I think the Brenda information is extremely important. Well, that didn't play. We'll play this one instead. Wanna get rocked? Have to keep it only a few seconds or I get a copyright strike. All right, so now we're going to move on to Benny. So Benny made his grand entrance back on the shares. I think he's been doing a pretty good job. However, I've asked Benny a few questions in a few places and a few times, and I know he's seen them because he even gave one of my comments a heart on his shit. And I think that Benny still has a lot to answer for me. However, my feelings still stand. I feel like Benny got himself involved in some shit he couldn't get himself out of. And as you see, he's come back a little more professional, not really attacking people. I like the way he's been doing his commentary. And after this, after we watch his grand entrance, I made a video last night and I shared it on my community post. And I think it's important that you guys listen to it because is it a possibility that Candace tried to set Benny up? So let's just give Cher and Benny a listen.
Pulling something straight out your asshole and posting it on a Facebook page. Yeah, you don't care. Not being done, not that I care. LOL. I don't suspect Andy or Fred. I don't really know what it says because it was a screenshot. Oh! Hello.
Good evening.
OMG, you guys. Don't we miss this voice?
How are you?
Well, fantastic now. How about you?
Yeah, I'm all the way up.
I'm like way too happy. It's ridiculous.
Me too. I would turn the camera on, but I dropped it the other day in the front facing camera. It doesn't want to work, so I have to go to Apple and, you got to crawl before you walk.
You know what? Exactly. The voice is good enough for now. You might give some of us a heart attack when we get to see you and hear you. Thank you for popping up here.
Thank you for having me. Now, I do want to say that I think that, I think that you really have to look at it objectively in the sense that, Fred's taken a test already, whether or not you agree with the results or not. None of us are certified polygraphers or interpreters of the polygraph. And I think the fact that he is willing to take another one, it's got to mean something whether you like him or not.
Yeah. And I'll say he actually, so he heard me like rumbling with the idea on one of my lives, and he texted me, Benny, and was like, I'll do it. You set it up, I'm there. So really, he came to me. So,
and I think that's awesome. And I think the downside to it probably is.
No, I'm not here to bash anybody, but I want people to remember that Cher and Ziggy are coming out here like they never spoke before. There are many panels Cher has on her channel of Ziggy from the very first days of summer. I haven't had a chance to go over them yet, but I did see them. And I think it's important that when they come out here and they tell people that they're doing this together, that people know that Cher and Ziggy have had a friendship, a fallout, a friendship, a fallout, in the past. It's nothing new. This is not brand new, and it's not like Ziggy just didn't have a wall of communication to share, because she absolutely did. They have known each other for the past 4 years. Ziggy's coming on here like it's brand new. And, oh my God, the first interview with Ziggy. No, that really isn't what's going on here. Keep that in mind. Again, another thing we should probably go over one day is Ziggy and Cher's old lives. But okay. There's a few of them.
That you're going to have the naysayers that,
Yeah.
let's assume hypothetically that the results are, right in line with the first one. You'll have the naysayers that say, oh, well, Fred knows how to beat the box and, X, Y, Z.
But that's the problem, Benny. Fred didn't beat the box. He has a no opinion result, which means the police didn't want to give him the opinion. They didn't want him to have those results. They only gave 3 answers. Now, Ziggy stated on her live, and I have it clipped again, something I'm going to show one day. I've planned on it a million times. Ziggy, the night she went over, what Burn Barrel sent her from Fred's crooked ass sister, Karen Elliott, was that he was in there for hours and hours and hours. So it was more than 3 questions. However, I believe Fred told Cher it was 9 questions in one of their first interviews together that he got. So it could take some time because they got to hook you up. They have to get a base level from you. They ask you simple questions like what's your age, what's your name, where do you live, so that they ask you questions to know if you're lying, like something they know you would lie about, something you wouldn't know, right? So that they can get a base level of your breathing, your heart patterns. Something else real quick. Let me go to my channel real quick. I was just looking at something before I came live. There's also rules that every polygrapher has to follow. Okay? Now, the ones I got up are from Tennessee. However, Fred's will be taken in Indiana. So I didn't look Indiana up, and this is just a portion of what I found. But there are like handbooks and laws and rules and all these things these polygraphers have to follow. Now, in this thing right here, it tells you they drug test the person they are going to polygraph. These are the requirements for the private investigator. Some of them. It's small. I can't get it to get any bigger. Sorry, I apologize. I'll read it to you. You can go to my community post and read it yourself. But Rules of Tennessee Private Investigation and Polygraph Commission Chapter 1175-04. Rules of Professional Conduct and Standards of Practice. Now, see, they want Andy B and Jody to take one of these, and Andy said he would, so this does apply to Andy. Firearms. You need a handgun carry permit for both open and concealed carry. So the polygrapher has to have a firearm license. You have to be a U.S. citizen and a resident of the state, Tennessee. I don't know if that goes for Indiana. You have to be at least 21 years old. You have to pass a criminal history check. You are not mentally defective. Complete a handgun safety course in the year prior to the application. Pick and process application at any driver service center location. Pay fees, $100 for an 8-year permit, $300 for a lifetime. Audio recording consent. One party. You must have consent from one party of an oral or electronic communication in order to record it, unless you are doing so as part of a criminal act. You may record any electronic in-person communication that is common knowledge or public information. However, and I didn't get the rest of it. That's just a little bit. That was just me posting and showing you that I am researching what it is these people have to do. Because what I'm curious about is Fred going to take a drug test prior to this. I understand his probation officer and that tests him all the time and this, that, and the other. But I want you to remember that a lot of pills and things like coke, and there's certain drugs that can be out of your system within hours. Look it up, especially if you're not a user that uses all the time.
And they're always going to try to squeak a foul opinion in about it in some way.
Yeah. Well, I especially can't please everybody at once. I'm good at pissing them all off, though. But for me, like what I was telling people is, let's say they don't show up. It will kind of say a lot as well, right? The two different polygraphs will be interesting. And also, Fred and Andy are not getting the questions. I'll let you know, I came up with the questions with a police officer for both. They came up with the questions, and they changed it from 3 questions to 4. And I called today to see if we could maybe wrangle a 5th question in for the $500 pricing. And I think.
Now this bothers me because when Cher first came out, the first pricing was only $250. Cher's really grifting. She goes on to show you, I don't know if it's in this live or another one, how much she made on her YouTube and how that's going to it. Look, I'm not here to down anybody. I think this needs done. I think it's worth paying the hotel. I think we need to see if Ziggy and Fred show up. I don't know. I want to find out. One of the things I think Cher should find out, and one of the things that I'm personally going to call eventually about, is would the TBI approve of this with him as a suspect? Because everybody is a suspect and a person of interest. I found a clip of Ernie Lawson saying they're all persons of interest. So, is that going to hinder the case? I would make sure that it isn't, just as a courtesy to Summer. But do I think it's an awful idea? No, I don't. Not at all. And, everybody's going, oh, I don't think there's any questions we could ask Ziggy. I think there's a million questions we could ask Ziggy. As a matter of fact, I think it would be more worth, because Fred's already taken a polygraph, I think it would be more worth putting Ziggy on in that chair instead of Fred. Only because I think Ziggy has involvement and has known Fred prior. I think she knows him through Pete Clark and possibly my father down there in Florida, because my aunt is actually from Benny Hill and Whitehaller Road. Rosemary Stanley, Rosemary Elliott, Rosemary Morlock Elliott. Look her up. It's not a fucking lie. I don't know what else to fucking tell you people except for that, but you could look it up, and that makes him a relative. That makes my aunt a relative to Fred. So, I think there's a lot of fucking things that Ziggy could be asked, and I would start with the laundering of money. Just my opinion.
We will. And that's just because they are basically, one of the questions is just going to be, has Fred Hill killed anybody? Because now they're throwing all kinds of bodies on this man. So I
think we should go all the way back to Jason Arnold. I think that's an amazing question.
Was talking with the guy, and he's like, yeah, you can just throw that in there, I think. So Ziggy was saying she would take one, and I didn't know what Ziggy would need one for, but some people think that she needs one to see if she's lying and covering. So basically, does she have guilty knowledge? But that would be my own.
Okay. I just covered that. But what did he say? What did she say before that? Let me go back just a second here.
So Fred and Andy are not getting the questions. I'll let you know.
Jason Arnold. Yeah, not only Jason Arnold, but Fred told us in jailhouse calls that he's being investigated for 2 unalivings. So we can assume one is Summer. We can assume the other one is Cotton Simpson. However, we could take Summer out of the equation, since LE says they don't have the information for that. and we can add Fred's mother, since Fred's sister said that Laura was on the camera was on, the mom was on the ground, and Laura unalived Fred's mother. That's what the accusation the sister made to me in text messages and in my chat messages. I believe she spoke about it on 6 Ups, which I can't share because we've been over that a million times. You know, you give somebody permission to share content and then you strike them after they share it. Like, fuck you, you fucking hooker ass, ugly looking, transvestite looking bitch. Anyways, from your picture anyway, you know, you got that Adam's apple there, and you really go for the LGBTQ shit. Like, are you like, did you get a surgery or something down there, 6 Up? I don't know what's up with you, yo, but you are, and I'm not saying I don't like gay people, because I do, but she goes a little above and over, like the preaching of it daily, and then like even upset because Ziggy called her and Karen lovers. I don't doubt it. Hey, did y'all know that Karen and Benny lived in Pennsylvania at one time? Same area too, I think. But anyways, let's go.
I came up with the questions with a police officer for both. They came up with the questions and they changed it from 3 questions to 4. And I called today to see if we could maybe wrangle a 5th question in for the $500 pricing. And I think we will. And that's just because they are basically, one of the questions is just going to be, has Fred Hill killed anybody? You know, because now they're throwing all kinds of bodies on this man. So I was talking with the guy and he's like, yeah, we can just throw that in there, I think. So Ziggy was saying she would take one, and I didn't know what Ziggy would need one for, but some people think that she needs one to see if she's lying and covering. So basically, does she have guilty knowledge? But that would be my only question for Ziggy. And I could understand Ziggy wanting that also, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah, absolutely.
So then what happened, I had Fred and Ziggy on, and then that's when they live confirmed they're doing this, and go ahead, continue on with the plans share. Andy popped up in chat live. Everyone saw it that was there and said, set me one up too. I want a polygraph too.
Mm-hmm.
So that's how that went. And then Jody Sue Brown went live telling everyone not to do it, and then whatever. So I'll repeat for the other people who are still giving me shit today. Why is because, you know, or why not have TBI do it and not pay the money? And why are you doing this? And the reason why is because sure, TBI or the FBI can go ahead and do it, but we aren't going to get anything. Like, we won't get any answers from it. They're going to hold it as part of the tool for them in the investigation. And
Of course, Sharon. That's their job. They can't, like, and I'm not saying this in a rude manner, but they're not allowed to come out here. They have to protect the integrity of the investigation. That's why I'm sure they wouldn't want you to put this out here. However, I don't know how they would feel 4 years later. I'm going to put this back on. I don't know how they would feel 4 years later after all the days. Thank you. I needed a cough drop. That's why I got up to ask my daughter-in-law for one. My throat's itchy. I'm just getting over this horrible cold. It's awful. And I think it was COVID. And it's lingering. It won't go the fuck away. Okay.
we all doing this for over 4 years. I
As
think
they should, right? I mean,
yes, exactly. Yep. So the law does know what I'm doing as well. And I was not ever told by TBI or their local law enforcement to not do this. So, in fact, there is a retired officer that has been on Summer's case before, but is no longer. That's how.
Cher has spoken about this retired officer in the past. I can't remember when or what the details were, but Cher, I'm very curious about who it is and what information they're giving you, because a retired officer shouldn't be having information to give people. Like he still has to stand by his oath even after he retired. That would be an ex-police officer hindering Summer's case. So I need to know, and I think the community deserves to know exactly which retired officer that you're out here quoting and stating that you have spoke to in the past. That's important. I think that, in my opinion, should be public information.
I found out that there has been a witness polygraphed, and was I sure that one of these gentlemen was not the witness already polygraphed? I let him know which two, Fred and Andy, and he said, "Oh yeah, nope." And this person said, yeah, one other person, a witness. So I thought that was interesting. Like,
so that could be Dawn, that could be Candace, that could be Grandma, that could be Jody, that could be Chad, because Chad's never come out and talked, and Ziggy's made a ton of accusations against him. That could be Billy Benton, that could be David Britt, that could be anybody. I think, Cher, if you're going to come out here and say that the police gave you private info like that, it just causes more speculation. So that's why I think you should confirm it and let the community hear what officer gave you that information, because it's pertinent to Summer's case, and TBI hasn't reported that.
So who's a witness? And so he knew also that I was talking about polygraphing two gentlemen. So he kind of let me know the names so that I know I already didn't polygraph this witness. So that tells me it was a man, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah, and no, it wasn't Andy and it wasn't Fred. So,
well, again, everyone that's a true crime aficionado, is well aware of the legalities and the boundaries of the polygraph, and I think that I think that it's it's probably a dual-edged sword, this situation, because you've got some people that are here for the entertainment value of it, and then you have some people that are here for answers for Summer, and I think it's sometimes hard to figure out who's who.
Yeah.
And I just truly hope that no matter what happens, that it could bring some answers for Summer in some way.
Yeah. Some people think that we all don't deserve any answers. I agree, but I also disagree, because we've all put our blood, sweat, and tears into this for over 4.
I don't think that we deserve direct answers. However, I think we deserve more than what TBI has given us, than what LE has given us. I think we see conflict in the TBI. I think we see conflict with Lawson. Hold on, guys. Let me let this play. I'll be right back to my thought.
For years. And I think it would be a nice tool for us to have to kind of, okay, well, maybe I can.
This shit needs to go away. It's a tickle in my throat, and it keeps making me cough. So I think TBI owes us more. I see conflict between them and Lawson, and even them and themselves. For instance, let me look something up, since I have no intentions on going anywhere today. So, for years, we see Ronnie Lawson coming out here. We don't want no social media. We don't want no speculation. Even going to Angie Daniels. Speculation is ruining Summer's case. Speculation is hurting the case. We need YouTubers to stop. I find that extremely funny, especially since at the time Ronnie Lawson was hiding his own son's crimes, right? So you want to go back, what was this, last year, the third year, 2024, Josh Melton does an interview. We never seen this guy before. He's an assistant director of Criminal Investigation Division, Tennessee Bureau of Investigation. So he's pretty up there. Assistant director, that's like second in charge, right? So he comes out and the whole demeanor has changed. Let's listen to Ronnie Lawson. I'll go listen to Ronnie real quick after this. We'll just listen to one time of Ronnie talking and Leslie Earhart at the beginning of this. And then we're going to go right now and we're going to listen to how that tone changed last year.
We don't have the evidence in this case to know for sure whether or not Summer was abducted or whether or not she walked away from her home and became lost. It's really important to us to not focus all of our efforts on just one of those two. We think that the only way we'll be successful in finding Summer is to continue to walk down both of those investigative paths to ensure that we don't become focused on one area alone and miss something that's crucially important.
Part one, Pruitt and Lawson came out a bear. She went in the woods. We think a bear got her. Just sticking to that, not even wanting to entertain the abduction theory. So let's listen to him again. Let's listen to the tone change.
To know for sure whether or not Summer... We don't have the evidence in this case to know for sure whether or not Summer was abducted or whether or not she walked away from her home and became lost. It's really important to us to not focus all of our efforts on just one of those two. We think that the only way we'll be successful in finding Summer is to continue to walk down both of those investigative paths to ensure that we don't become focused on one area alone and miss something that's crucially important. I would say that.
So is that something Lawson already did? Is that something Hawkins already did? Because this right here, interview or talking, whatever Melton did, is extremely interesting, especially the tone change. And now how they want to work with the public and the community and YouTube and everybody out there. Now we're extremely important to them.
This case has not gone cold. A cold case is typically framed up as a case where there are no tips or leads that are coming in and there are no investigative efforts that are happening because there is no place to travel with the investigation. I would say in this case, thanks to the public, we've continued to have tips and leads that have come in.
You're welcome.
That agents have been able to follow up on continuously. And the agents have worked tirelessly when tips and leads weren't coming in to try to find ways to investigate when typically people would lay down their effort. It has been a great...
So Lawson stopped tips and leads from coming in, and so did Jody Sue. And so did so many others, because you're wasting the TBI's time and attacking. I was attacked, extremely attacked, for turning tips into TBI. But as you see, Melton here is thanking the public for turning those tips in, letting us know that they have found some clues out of the tips that have been turned in. To all of us YouTubers that put your effort in and are really here for Summer, I want to thank you for calling in every little tip you see when you talk to Dawn and Candace or Jody or Andy or somebody close to the case and they've done something silly, because it could be the most meticulous thing that cracks this case that we're just waiting for. And I think Leslie Earhart told us that in her last interview as well. Maybe we'll go over that too today.
Partnership between the community and law enforcement to not let this case sit and go sterile. We continue to focus on ground search efforts. We continue to focus on interviews of those who may have information about vehicles that have traveled through the area or technology that could have been used.
So they still need camera footage, and they're still interviewing people about the vehicles that come into the area. We hear Jeremy Pell talk about a black truck, and he says he's been interviewed, that the police had come to his house to interview him about the black truck. We know about the red truck, although both stories between Pell and others is that both trucks were there to pick up car parts, which is odd to me. Right? Now all this blue truck stuff, Pruitt has the call with Ziggy where he hangs up on her, but all he's interested in is the vehicles that were in that area that day. So Mountain's not lying to us a year ago.
Used that may give us an investigative lead. All stones are being turned over. There's not one thing that's being done. We've been extremely creative as we've investigated this case and continue to try to find ways to turn over rocks that we didn't even know that were there to turn over.
So Cher states that the TBI wanted her to keep Dawn and Candace talking. Is that one of the creative ways that they worked? Oh, speaking of which, I gotta go over Candace's latest shit too. Y'all see her in the middle of the night walking in bare feet again in a swampland? Like, she has a habit of doing that, and it's weird as fuck. It needs to stop. She did it the same night she threw the phone in the lake with Ernie. She's done it many times. Camping, fishing spots, this, that, and the other. Candace, you need to fucking stop. Listen, I've said in the past I don't think you did anything, but the more and more I listen and look and see things, like something we're going to go over here soon, the cameras you installed that Dawn didn't know about, but you and Dawn Keller were looking at Dawn waving on the like he was on the cameras and didn't even know Dawn's such a dumbass. Yeah, y'all remember when Lynn and Jenna was on Ziggy's panel talking about that? Because I made a video about it. If you haven't seen it, please go watch it. But we are going to go over it here today. Because this would imply cameras with voice activation, as Benny went over and went over and went over and went over as he talked about the calls. But this would imply there were cameras that even Benny didn't know about. And it makes it look like Candace was trying to put Benny in place of her at looking at the cameras. As if she was trying to set Benny up. And I'm not a Benny fan. But if I see something, I'm going to fucking say something. Because in my opinion, Candace, you're a dirty bitch. And I think it's time you tell us where the fuck your kid is. The games you've played and you continue to play are ridiculous. And Benny's right with the shit he was saying last night about you. 1 minute you're with Dawn, the next minute you ain't. You're over there grifting. Asking for money while you're in people's panels and even in your own chat, you and Dawn are still together. Well, you know what, man? Go to your husband and get money because the community has given you enough. Don't you think you've grifted enough off of us? You have a missing child. Why don't you get up and hang a flyer? I ain't seen you do that since the day you walked in the parade with Robin. Where are you at the prayer vigils? Dawn's in jail. You're around. You don't even go to your own daughter's prayer vigils. You walk out at every news station interview that you have. That's not normal. Y'all see the clip of the lady in Sullivan County or somewhere down there crying over her horse? That should be Candace crying over her daughter. My feelings about you have changed. I want to know where your daughter is, and I'm going to sit on your neck. Because I personally am done with your shit, Candace Wells. Even to the point of that, it's that childish. Even to the point of that, there was an interview where Ansley Daniels had to get up on a news channel, and correct herself because Candace wants to be called Candace Bly and not Wells now. Even though her and Dawn are married. Dude, you're weird as fuck. We've had enough of you. Tell us where your daughter is. In my opinion, it's clear you're guilty.
Children are our top priority at TBI. They are the most vulnerable population that we have. They're our most precious things in our world. TBI has always placed an emphasis on missing children, and we've done that through multiple programs that are established here. We look for children when most people aren't. And this case is one that we've just not been able to overcome, and it's troubling. Many people have speculated what they think has happened in this case. The difficult part of the speculation is that if we as investigators speculate and focus our efforts in one direction, we're making a huge mistake. We have to make sure that we're being completely comprehensive as we investigate. And being focused in one direction is a tragedy for an investigation. So
to me, that's him telling us that Ronnie Lawson was speculating, as he only investigated the woods over and over and over and over in one direction. You hear Melton tell you that we as officers, it's bad for us to speculate in one direction. We have to be comprehensive in what we do and look at all aspects of the case, which is something Prude and Lawson hasn't done yet. But hey, Ernie and Lawson don't get along. All the Hay House shit, I don't know, Sullivan, Hawkins. What's the deal, Ernie? Lawson, why are you hiding your son's crimes? How does he walk from prison? In my opinion, and it's just my opinion, and I'm speculating, you're a crooked-ass, bald, ugly motherfucker. And I've had enough of you, too. Wasn't there a rumor that Dawn and Lawson were related at some point or something? Maybe we should look into that.
Until we find evidence that points us in a direction that we know is the right direction, we'll continue to be comprehensive. We'll continue to explore every option that can be out there, and we would continue to ask for the public's help in doing so. Typically, we have a couple of agents assigned to an investigation.
Continue to ask for the public's help as we do so. Please, anybody with any tips for Summer Wells, please call 1-800-TBI-FIND. No matter how stupid you think the tip is, it could be the tip that breaks the case and finds this little girl.
And that's been enough. We've had over 6,500 leads, tips and leads come in on this case. Those have all been reviewed. They've been worked. We continue to get those. And it is a monstrous task, but it's one that's not overwhelmed us. We have
6,000 tips is a low number to him. It's monstrous, but it hasn't overwhelmed them. And he said that the tips stopped coming in because people like Lawson and Jody Sue were on here saying you're calling in frivolous tips. So much so that they scared the public to not call in their tips. And Melton has to come out here, the assistant director of the TBI has to come out here and fix that because they're being attacked in Millersville by people like Lisa Key and Linda Cutshall. Like they're involved in missing children's cases because their own law enforcement agencies, in my opinion, are making them look like assholes. Melton, I stand with you and I appreciate more than any other TBI interview. This is the best interview that had ever been done. I appreciate this. If you ever see my live, please, thank you for coming out here and letting us know that you need every tip that we have. Haas. Helen Haas. The pedo that was fired from Hay House that was buddies with Ernie Schill. Yeah. The one that was on Ben Hill using Wi-Fi. Oh, and there's another name too, directed right to Sutherland. Directed right to Andy's home. There's another family of weirdos that are connected to Andy that used his address while Andy and his mom and everybody owned it. Y'all need to look into some shit. Go to Ben Verified and look at who uses the addresses there. Hey, Andy B, you want to tell us who Sutherland is? Wasn't the dad in prison or something? Like, I really researched that. I'd have to go back and look at all of it.
Have been strategic in the way that we've handled this investigation. We have some of our most talented agents assigned to this case, some of our most talented intelligence analysts from the Bureau assigned to this case. We have brought in subject matter experts within TBI from across the state to assist in this investigation. We have thrown everything that we know to throw at this case, and we haven't had the answers that we need yet. We know we'll get them, but we don't have them today. When I see the picture of Summer Wells, I see my daughter. And I can tell you that if my daughter was missing, I would sure hope that somebody was looking for her every day. And it brings me...
I'm going to finish that sentence for you. I know it ain't going to be that, but it brings me pain that Candace Wills doesn't come out here and beg people to look for her daughter. Instead, she refrains from it and says, don't share my daughter's pictures. You're stealing my daughter's pictures. Don't do this. Don't do that. They're attacking us. Oh, the poor YouTubers. We lost our job. We did this. We did that. Well, you know what? Maybe if you didn't come out shooting up on live, Candace, that shit wouldn't happen. You're the mother of a missing child. Wake the fuck up. You're going to be judged. Especially when you can't hold your liquor, your tongue, or anything you do in life. In my opinion, you're a piece of shit. Clean your fucking house. Don't have the YouTubers come out there and clean your house and fix your life. Go find your kid. Wind you truck stops. Hanging posters on the news. I'd like to see you on the national news, not walking away from it. Crying on Dr. Phil. At the mention of cornbread mafia. Why? Not because there's a cornbread mafia, Candace. No. But because there is a gang of bad people that you got yourself, according to Dawn, you made the decisions with wrong friends. Remember the Brian Etten news report? Who's your friends, Candace? I'm personally done being nice. I want to know where your daughter is. It's been 4 years. This has destroyed my life just because I'm out here caring about a baby you gave birth to that it seems you don't give a fuck about, in my opinion. You're more worried about the theatrics and playing games with Ernie while you suck on his eggplant. Flirting with other men all day long. The second Donnie ain't in the picture. Collecting money. Oh, poor me. Poor you nothing. You were a piss poor mother. And your husband was a piss poor father. Get your shit together and go find your kid or tell us where she is.
Concern and satisfaction. Really, the concern that we don't have the answers, the satisfaction of knowing that we have the best agents at TBI that are working on this case in connection with other local law enforcement and federal agencies who are doing their best. And if my daughter was missing, all of the people that are working on this case are the people who I would choose to work on a case if my daughter was missing.
Another story at 6, day 2, and a planned search for missing 6-year-old Summer Wells is now.
This was the next news clip. They even went back in the fall when there was no leaves. There's no way they missed the Summer Wells with the amount of searchers and the amount of years and the amount of manpower and time that so many across the world has put into this. Did you know I found a clip where Robin or somebody was bringing people from the UK here to search for Summer? Y'all hear the kids yelling next door? I think that was my grandson. They're all good names. Sorry, I apologize. The window's open and the fan's on. If it's too loud for you, let me know. All right. We'll go back to Benny in a little bit when he came on, because I don't think he's even on here much longer. Yeah, he's on here a little bit. Let's see, where are we at? Another 15 minutes. But what I want to do right now is come to this video I made. And I want to remind you while we're doing this, because I plan on making a video. Oh, no, there was somebody from, Norway. There was another one that said UK. It was on a news broadcast that I had found. I have to go find it again. My head's I've been sick. Aw. Thank you, none of beeswax. I think a lot of us are just sick of all of the games that these people have played with the YouTubers. I haven't watched White Boy in quite some time. But I heard Benny saying last night that there might have been some fallout between Dawn and White Boy and Candace. And, you know, I have sat back and watched all these people that came in to try to help Dawn and Candace. No, I've never involved myself with them. A little bit, I spoke to Dawn briefly. However, I didn't want to involve myself with them for the reason. One of the reasons was I sat back and I watched how they would bring Prayer Garden, a Dawn, a Lynn, what was that old lady, Terry or whatever, the one with the granddaughter, Squall. They bring all these people in. The only one still sticking around her is Squall. That's sickening in my opinion. But she fights, and they end up enemies with every single human they make friends with. She just attacked Jenkins the other night. Yeah, you know what? Hold on a minute, guys. I was in the middle of making videos. Let me go see. I'm going to put this on, because what I want you to hear is Jenna. Oh, what I wanted to say. I'm going to go look for another video real quick, too. But what I want you to hear here is Jenna, the one that Benny claims called in the tip to Tim Mullen to Dr. Phil that they seen a sighting of Summer in North Carolina, is on panel with a woman named Lynn. Now, I never really paid attention to these people, but they're going over Dawn's, not Dawn Wells, Dawn, fuck, they say her name, a female Dawn in here that Candace had made friends with and enemies with. They're going over her information, and now you're hearing about the cameras. So Jen is extremely involved at the beginning of Summer's case. So much so that she's calling in fake tips for Tim Mullen to Dr. Phil, not even the cops. And they use that as an excuse as Candace walking off the stage when she's asked tough questions. Bullshit, in my opinion. Because you were just fine before they asked the tough questions, and you do at every news broadcast. Yet you have no issue getting on Janky's panel or even recording your own video and talking shit on everybody on YouTube and bashing everybody, how they all talked bad about you. The YouTubers did you so dirty. Well, you know what, Candace? You did your kids dirty. I don't give a fuck about you. Did Candace set Benny up? Oh, with the PIs. Because them some dirty motherfuckers, in my opinion, too.
Only Ziggy has permission to use my stuff non-transformatively. Everyone else, you better transform it. Slanging spoons after this. Dig?
This right here, these screenshots are not between you and this lady that, even though you might see her name in it, I guess we're going to try to keep her unnamed, but it's not between, you're not in this conversation, right?
No, these were sent to me.
So
Ziggy's the only one. So if you're gonna play it, you better transform it. Promise you.
So first it starts out that the pink is somebody, I don't know who, that's I guess not going to be.
Yeah, it's the white that's really important.
Yeah, the white is this lady, Dawn, and that's
the white is Dawn Keller.
And she goes by that one here on YouTube, so it's not like a secret.
Yeah.
So
I'm telling you, everything isn't always what it seems. Ken is not in custody. I got a lot of love for Tim. You got to turn this shit in, bro. I got a lot of love for Candace. Do the right thing. Do the right thing.
It says, I feel really bad for Candace, honestly. What is your thoughts on Dawn? I don't know how she deals with everything going on.
I don't know what the fuck is going on. Man, what is that? What's up with Chris? He said the fuck off. Huh? I don't know what's going on, but I'm ready to fuck this off about it. I don't know what. Chris texted me a whole bunch of crazy shit, like I'm messing with some cameras and I'm downloading Donnie's phone.
And Dawn says, Dawn does yell at her when she wanted him out of the house the other night. He wouldn't let her call 911. So she has installed voice-activated cameras in the house and trail cams all over the property, and he has no effing clue.
Not you, bro. That's not you at all. But I don't, man. I'm just like at the point, like, I don't talk to him anymore than I used to. Yeah. And the only reason why I asked the Judy and Chris to listen in on our conversation was to protect my ability. I understand. It's just like, Chris, you know, I'm sorry if you got upset. I didn't mean to upset her. Okay, you didn't get upset about nothing at all. It was just the way Chris came back around the corner. Like, Chris came back accusing me of messing with y'all's cameras and the sound. Oh, okay, I got it now. Yeah.
He stood in front of one of them the other night, and we watched him because he didn't even know.
True. I mean, he told me he was done with me, and I was like, yeah, bro, I really don't have no use for you either. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, really all he does is call me once a week or twice a week, whatever, and try to get whatever information I got. Like, you know what I'm saying? I haven't done nothing but be helpful to that dude. But when I told him, I was like, Chris, bro, all of these things you say that you think I've done, I've not done these things. And I said, and this is what pissed him off. I was like, bro, please don't text me no more about none of this stuff. I said, you call me, sir. You call me and talk to me about shit like this. You don't text me and act like no pussy and hide behind no text. I said, call me like a grown-ass man. And then he was like, no, I'm done. And he was like, tell Penny I said goodbye as well.
If it gets bad, she will text me 911 and I will call Rogersville Sheriff.
And I guess that was his way of telling me that you told him that Penny didn't want to talk because he was there. You know what I'm saying? I didn't tell anybody anything. Well, I mean, how would he know? And I also texted you back and said, man, okay, fuck everybody. You and your video go, guys, and fuck you.
Her attorney knows the shit he's doing. The family law judge gave them each their own attorney after he was told what was going on. Then the Pinkett says, good for her. What made her want to install cameras? She doesn't trust him either, does she?
What's, I don't even know, man. Just a lot. So, Kristen Trudy haven't called you tonight? Oh, they have? No, not tonight. That's just silly. Like, they wanted to listen in on the conversation, but don't want to call you or me about it. Like, that's just silly. Like, I don't... what's, I don't even know, man. Just a lot. So, Kristen Trudy haven't called you tonight? Oh, they have? No, not tonight. That's just silly. Like, they wanted to listen in on the conversation, but don't want to call you or me about it. Like, that's just silly. Like, I don't... what's, I don't even know, man. Just a lot. So, Kristen...
She wanted them in the property because of Juanita and the guy, Larry, that was with her. and there has been people in the woods area around her house on the property. So
I don't know. Chris just said a whole bunch of things to me, and now talking to you, it's all shit that Tim has done. But he's saying it to me like I've done it, and I'm like, I didn't do any of this shit, like at all.
She wanted them in the property. Okay, now she's speaking about the cameras again. She wanted them in the property because of Juanita and the guy Larry that was with her. And there has been people in the wooded area around her house on the property, and she's at home at night alone. Well, she was. Now he comes home and gets in the damn phone with every Tom, Dick, and Harry he can.
What the fuck is this shit? I don't even know what he's talking. I mean, is he on drugs? Like, what is he? Who accessed the cameras with audio? Like, I don't know, man. That's what I'm not talking. Like, I put those cameras in. I set it up on my phone. I know you did, brother. And then once it worked, I went in and set it up on your phone. And then I had it on my phone for like 2 days, 3 days while I was there. Then when I left, I took it off. But I told people online I could still access it. But I could not. Because God had already disabled them. I didn't do it, man. God didn't do it. Who did it? Tim did it.
About the cameras. It says, and he has no clue about the cameras she had put on the property.
Tim took them down. Yeah. Why would Tim take the cameras down? Okay, the same reason why Tim is trying to control me right now.
No, because her friend did it during the day, and they're in the trees. I watched them do it.
So, did he explain to you why he took the cameras down after he asked me to get you some cameras to put them up? No, he had not.
Did you see my question above the picture? There's ones he knows about because of the driveway, but there's ones she put up with her friends and their husbands that none but them and me and her know where they are. The ones.
And you got security cameras now, right? You do have security cameras, right? Have all that stuff. You got everything you need.
I doubt. In the house are all tiny, and that's why she has the AT&T phone. He doesn't even know the passcode. One's in the house.
I highly doubt it. And I want to touch on this before we go any further. A lot of people misconstrued and completely mutilated the context of when I said, I put there in the intro, I'm on a ladder with a thumbs up. I had just installed IP Wi-Fi security cameras that one looked down this way up the driveway and the other one looked, because it's a horseshoe driveway, right? One looked down one side, one looked down the other, right? Don and Candace wanted no part. It was Tim Mullins that suggested it. And in fact, guess what? The great people of this community paid almost $300 for those cameras and the box that goes inside, right? I could not get either one of them off of their phone and out of the house in order to use their phone to put the app on to initialize the system. So what I did was I initialized the system from my phone, went inside, transferred the information from my phone to their phone, got it working on both phones, wrote down, and actually Tim Mullins at that point stepped in, and they went in and they made we had made an email strictly for the account. Then they went in and changed the password. So the password was not the one I created. The one I created was Summer Wells 2020 or 2021, whatever it was, right? They went in and made their own passcode or their own password for it. I had no access to the password. It was all to them. They wrote it in a book. So people took that context and they butchered it. They butchered it all the way down. And then because it was butchered, they spread all the different contexts all over the place. But they never turned the cameras on. Don turned the cameras off. And the only reasoning I would guess that you wouldn't want the cameras going is for some other nefarious reason. Why would you not want to see if other YouTubers were coming on your property, or know when the police were coming, or, you know, any number of things that the camera and the DVR system could have captured? Why would you not want that on film? It has to be for a more nefarious reason. My opinion only.
Shit. Hold on, guys. Give me 1 second here. Alright, we'll go back to Benny on share. I'm asking that nobody attack Benny here, because I do feel, in my opinion, Benny's been through the ringer with the Wills. I feel like anybody who's gotten close to the Wills and tried to help in some sort of way was used to hurt by many people connected to the Wills, and that includes a Linda Cutshaw. Like, bitch, fuck you. I'm gonna say your name all day, every day. Okay? And then you got Nana for life and Andy running around here with Fred Hill's sister. Is there a possibility Fred's innocent and his sister's not? Since she worked at AmeriCorps, right? And she's the one that claims Layla's clothes fell out of her ceiling and that Summer's clothes were there. Karen Elliott has made some really big claims. And Fred seems to stick up for her even while he's attacking her. Or Julie. He really seems to stick up for Julie. When he first came out here, Julie was the bad sister. The one that did the bath salts. And then he switched it up. To now it's Karen, who's playing games with Andy Bernard, running around, taking pictures with Ryan Finds Truth, and like, bitch got fucking problems, and I guess people in Beach Creek are afraid of her because she's a big fat bitch. Well, you know what? I'm only 4'11", but I got a big impact. And this is about a missing little girl and a missing 20-year-old Layla Santinello. And you mentioned her name. And you mentioned her clothes being in your house after she was in the hotel that you worked at, which, by the way, I made a phone call to that hotel. I don't know if I went over that with you guys. I've had a couple phone calls that I haven't gone over with you guys yet. Thank you, Bella. Dolls called Mabel, Summer, Journey, Harmony. What? I didn't know she named them. But she definitely did. There were images of them hanging from the trees and in the bins. And then she's sending, you know, like Ernie was there with a bag of dildos. But that never turned anything. It's just, in my opinion, Candace coming out here and playing a whole lot of fucking games with everybody on here. However, I do find Ernie shady as fuck. Even though I was wrong that I think of him being connected to that other Jaden Spicer case, I still think Ernie's a fucking weirdo and does shit he shouldn't be doing in missing children's cases. I think when he tells me that Ziggy's his handler and he has to go through Ziggy to do an interview with me and then doesn't do the interview, and he's collecting folders with information in it and going to hotels and coming out here that Summer was alive a year ago in Knoxville with a man named Playboy who's been dead for 3 fucking years and was possibly in prison at the time of Summer's disappearance. Like, y'all got some fucking issues, and I think they all work together. And I'm just going to fucking be honest with you. I think they have a fucking ring going down in Beach Creek. As a matter of fact, I wouldn't say it's beyond the norm for that area, since there was a huge bust with the James Light there. It's some sick shit. It's some sick shit that goes on in that area. I don't know what it is, but we've seen the busts. There's many of them. We've seen news articles of gunplay on Dobbs property twice from years ago. Shootings on Light Hauler. Fred shooting Fanning, part of the KKK. His son is rallying up the troops to do the KKK rallies. Now, I'm not sitting here attacking the KKK because I don't think that they had anything to do with Summer. Since they're not in that area no more, since Fred caused them all kinds of grief and they were shooting at each other, right? Pew pew, and sorry, oops. I think there's some fucking problems there. You got a Jeremy Pell that's been doing crime commentary since 2018-19 on Apple. Doesn't talk about Summer till a year later, which, by the way, he took his content down. There's only one there, Letters to Summer. I went and checked yesterday because I'm making a video. I have like 20 videos being made. I always do. I never finish them. I finished one, though. I was excited about that. And actually, I have another one. You know what? Let me pull that out. Here's another one I want to talk about. I plan on being here a while today, I guess. Hold on a minute. I was going to wait till tomorrow to post this. I'll still post it tomorrow. So you guys can watch it on your own and I still get a video out. But I think it's worth... Let me find it. Watching this with you guys today because I actually have an old Jody Sue live that I had found. Let's get this one.
But all of a sudden, it was hiding porn. I mean, the porn was constant. No matter how much sex, was happening, like... And then it became the keywords were teen and young and other terms that bothered me. But this was specific looking, not just first tap, not first search criteria, not whatever. And it would scroll through like 600 and pick these that were like, when I see them, because it wasn't normal even for it. I mean, it grossed me the fuck out. But I'm still saying that's what happened. Like, this was not just women, because you see the ones that look like women that are, they just don't have that, and they're made to look at that, man, this is, but I still don't think that it meant to, you see what I'm saying? But that, as a grown man, when you see something that looks that young, even to me as a female, I'm like, holy fuck. That doesn't look right. I mean, that's in your head. And it's like, that's what it's finding attractive. Like, I mean, like, I wanted to bomb it, right? Around the same time period, it was starting to pick cashiers and this and other at some of the local places where they hire younger ones, but then I was literally told by friends and family and other people, and then by these people themselves when I would go up there. There were times when it was done, and then I would be out getting stuff from the kids, and I would pull in, and there it was, hanging out, not with the adult ones anymore, but with the juveniles. And giving them cigarettes and doing whatever, and out there talking to them, and it was like, oh no, they just wanted to, they were just saying hi, and I'm like, what are you doing having a conversation with, like, and you're gonna get your ass in trouble getting a cigarette. We'll know this, and all of us talk, all of us around this small town, and I, for 4 years, swore up and down it wasn't on there. I'm like, no, y'all is just losing weight because he's finally working, he's doing whatever. And man, at first I was like, yeah, that's really what, because I was like, holy shit, he's on stuff. Because the place to eat, one of the places, at the time, they were real bad for using, stem fast there. And I accused, and I asked, and I questioned, especially since the same time period, people kept seeing him places that was notorious for. And he would tell me he was running so-and-so, or there was always an excuse, right? Or that I was crazy. Usually I was crazy. And I was a liar. But I have a bazillion times, but especially the past few years, especially this year, and this last year is in this past few months, especially, right, like everything else, have noticed an uptick in this particular behavior because it's like a child. It wants to show these things, but it can't hide them, and it wants to be proud of them. It wants to be like, and so it'll give a way to tell you about them without telling you. It'll be, I found this, look at this, or so-and-so gave me this. But then actually what you find out is it stole it, or it took it, it stole it, right? Or whatever else, or it bought it, but it don't want to admit to, because for some reason it wants to tell people, including itself, it's going to be in trouble for it. The past few months, like I was saying in the videos, all of a sudden it became, I found this bag of meth. I found this bag of meth. I found this bag of meth. Down at Zoomer's, down at Andy, down at wherever. Dude, these were such big bags, there's no way that some fucking head wasn't out in the parking lot, like, with a microscope, if they'd lost it. Like, there's no way. No way in hell. No way. I know without a doubt that at some point that this one in particular that there's a really good chance of it killing someone when it has reason, and it eventually will. And it loses its shit next time on someone else. I can't say that person is not going to die in its hands. Its fondest wish was to watch, as it tied zip ties around my neck, watch the light leave my fucking eyes. Every day I heard that. And it would turn to me for no reason, and it would be like, I want to go, kill a bunch of people, I want to do this in places, I want to whatever. It's some straight up incel shit that, like, nobody else would fucking, like, and you have these oh shit moments, and I would literally question it to try to keep it in the same type of mind frame in case that urge actually, like, went any further. I'm like, but why? What kind of fucking sense does that make? Why would anybody want to do something like that? No, all those people will be in, like, why in the fuck, right? And then it would turn to all this crazy, it would literally just turn to me and say shit like that, repeatedly. And it was bizarre. And then it would tell me, I don't know how many fucking times in the past few months that, for no reason, like, it would do shit, and I'd be like, it would do shit like it was stupid. Like, and I'd be like, you're gonna get pulled over, or whatever, or this and that. And it would be like, it don't matter, I wish they'd fucking kill me, I wish they'd do this, and, whatever. And then especially after the other things started transpiring, and there was, all this stuff going on the road, it became this fucking just, with personality and the volatility, and I was like, holy shit, what's happening? Like, And I honestly figured at the time, and still do, that it bothered it greatly. That, but like everything comes out as rage and anger, right? Hold on.
You see the smart ass comments that come in? What's the point? Is this gonna find Summer? GMA, do you, Gamma, whatever, Gamma, do you think that Ellie don't go over the first days over and over? I would ask you to rewind when I'm playing the TVI assistant director and listen to his words before you come in here making a smart ass fucking comment. Now, with that being said, goodbye. Time out. We're not dealing with it. Okay, now back to Benny and Cher. Now that we went over all of the nasty things Jody accused Andy of, like being with young girls and contributing to the delinquent of minors and having bags of meth day after day that he just finds big, huge bags that's more than somebody would drop, that it didn't make sense. I believe I even have a clip of Jody Sue saying he took him to his mom's and flushed him at one time. And that his parents were giving him guns, and we hear stories that Paulie may have possibly been selling rugs. Yep, I agree, Bellanova. See, for me, in my head, because I know the people up here involved in the We Can Bring You Hope shit, like personally, grew up with them, a lot of them, my whole fucking life, from a small child. Yes, she said a lot here, we'll rewatch it. I'm going to shut up. I'm not going to chat. I'm going to ignore the ignorance in my chat. GMA butterfly, you ain't such a butterfly. Get the fuck out of here. Go fly away. Go to Cancun somewhere. We're done with it. I don't play that shit over here no more. I speak my mind, and you're going to learn it. You can't come over here and try to troll me because it ain't going to fucking work. But you have a good day. Nice trying. I'm going to come off and let you just pay attention to the video. I'm not going to chat.
But all of a sudden, it was hiding porn, and the porn was constant. No matter how much sex, was happening, and then it became the keywords were teen and young and other terms that bothered me. But this was specific looking, not just first tap, not first search criteria, not whatever, and it would scroll through like 600 and pick these that were like, when I see them, because it wasn't normal even for it. I mean, it grossed me the fuck out. But I'm still saying that's what happened. Like, this was not just women, because you see the ones that look like women that they just don't have that, and they're made to look at that, man, this isn't. But I still don't think that it meant it. You see what I'm saying? But that, as a grown man, when you see something that looks that young, even to me as a female, I'm like, holy fuck. That doesn't look right. I mean, that's in your head. And it's like, that's what it's finding attractive. Like, I mean, like, I wanted to bomb it, right? Around the same time period, it was starting to pick cashiers in the center at some of the local places where they hire younger ones. But then I was literally told by friends and family and other people, and then by these people themselves when I would go up there. There were times when it was done, and then I would be out getting stuff from the kids, and I would pull in, and there it was, hanging out, not with the adult ones anymore, but with the juveniles, and giving them cigarettes and doing whatever, and out there talking to them. And it was like, oh no, they just wanted to, they were just saying hi. And I'm like, what are you doing having a conversation with, like, and you're gonna get your ass in trouble getting a cigarette? Well, know this. And all of us talk. All of us around this small town. And I, for 4 years, swore up and down it wasn't on there. I'm like, no, y'all is just losing weight because he's finally working. He's doing whatever. And man, at first I was like, yeah, that's really, because I was like, holy shit, he's on stuff. Because the place to eat, one of the places, at the time, they were real bad for using, stem fast there. And I accused, and I asked, and I questioned, especially since the same time period, people kept seeing him places that was notorious for. And he would tell me he was running so-and-so, or there was always an excuse, right? Or that I was crazy. Usually I was crazy. And I was a liar. But I have a bazillion times, but especially the past few years, especially this year, and this last year is in this past few months, especially, right, like everything else, have noticed an uptick in this particular behavior because it's like a child. It wants to show these things, but it can't hide them, and it wants to be proud of them. It wants to be like, and so it'll give a way to tell you about them without telling you. It'll be, I found this, look at this, or so-and-so gave me this. But then actually what you find out is it stole it, or it took it, it stole it, right? Or whatever else, or it bought it, but it don't want to admit to, because for some reason it wants to tell people, including itself, it's going to be in trouble for. The past few months, like I was saying in the videos, all of a sudden it became, I found this bag of meth. I found this bag of meth. I found this bag of meth. Down at Zoomer's, down at Andy, down at wherever. Dude, these were such big bags, there's no way that some fucking head wasn't out in the parking lot, like, with a microscope, if they'd lost it. Like, there's no way. No way in hell. No way. I know without a doubt that at some point that this one in particular that there's a really good chance of it killing someone when it has reason, and it eventually will. And it loses its shit next time on someone else. I can't say that person is not going to die in its hands. And its fondest wish was to watch, zip ties around my neck, watch the light leave my fucking eyes. Every day I heard that. And it would turn to me for no reason, and it would be like, I want to go, kill a bunch of people, I want to do this in places, I want to whatever. And some straight up incel shit that, like, nobody else would fucking, like. And you have these oh shit moments, and I would literally question it to try to keep it in the same type of mind frame in case that urge actually, like, went any further. I'm like, but why? What kind of fucking sense does that make? Why would anybody want to do something like that? No, all those people will be in, like, why in the fuck, right? And then it would turn to all this crazy, it would literally just turn to me and say shit like that, repeatedly. And it was bizarre. And then it would tell me, I don't know how many fucking times in the past few months that, for no reason, like, it would do shit, and I'd be like, it would do shit like it was stupid. Like, and I'd be like, you're gonna get pulled over, or whatever, or this and that. And it would be like, it don't matter, I wish they'd fucking kill me, I wish they'd do this, and, whatever. And then especially after the other things started transpiring, and there was, all this stuff going on in the road, it became this fucking just, the personality and the volatility, and I was like, holy shit, what's happening? Like, and I honestly figured at the time, and still do, that it bothered it greatly. That, but like everything comes out of rage and anger, right? Hold on.
See, that's where you got me fucked up, because I ain't never said, I don't know if you are watching my whole live or not, but what I said was I believe Benny was used by Tim Mullen and Candace. I believe Penny was used. I believe Tiffany was used. I believe by Chris McDonough. I believe that Dawn's sisters may have known things prior, or at least Mary, because I think the bitch is shady as fuck. Like, I ain't got shit to say about Jeannie. I believe Jeannie was a victim. However, I think Mary stayed out here where Jeannie hid in the showers. Shadows. In the closet. But I never said that any creator knew where Summer was. I talk about the locals. Now, Squad H, that might be a little bit different for me, or AC, but you're allowed it to be stated in your chats. I think, GMA, that everybody has a right to their own opinion, including you, and I'm not going to attack people for their opinions. We've all sat here for 4 years and watched the games that have been played in this case, and all the creators being attacked and things that aren't normal, that shouldn't be normal. So I'm keeping it 100. I'm not accusing the creators. However, creators like Benny have been paid by Benny's own mouth by people like Tim Mullen to hire We Can Bring You Hope. So unless you know who We Can Bring You Hope is and all of that, you have to know the history. In my opinion, creators did get paid to say what was scripted. Sorry, but it's true. I believe so. And I think creators like Benny came out here with better intentions. They wanted to help find Summer, so that they thought that they were helping the parents by doing the things Tim was asking them to do. However, I believe Tim is not a good person. I believe the PIs are not good people. I believe Squad H not a good person. Annie Saranac not a good person. All the people that came out here playing games in Summer's case that are Logan Squaltip from Lighthauler Road, or Rebecca Crawford with the kingpin drug dealer husband who recently passed away from a heart issue. She admitted to being Rebecca Crawford. I can't find live because she blocked all of her shit while she's creating private game servers for little kids. And I'm not Benny's enemy, like people think. That's the sad thing about this. He come out here attacking me, setting up 5 fucking lawsuits on me, helping Gavel and Chroma, the fucking cunts of YouTube. Those might be a couple that are involved some way or another, chasing the ones that go up there and they seem like they joined Don Wells' cult. Because you got to remember, I think this is a ring, and if it's a ring and there's drugs being sold all over America, it would make sense for creators all over America to get on here and try to protect whatever it is they're trying to protect. I do believe there is a ring. But it isn't doing the same thing with their name and their title. I mean, if you think so, you don't have to be here watching. So at this point, you're going to be blocked, but you haven't lived my life and been through what I have. You haven't had the 5 lawsuits placed against you. You haven't had your marriage destroyed and your husband's job lost. And like, I'm struggling right now due to Summer's case because I wanted to come out here and share a little girl's picture. I can't help what you like and what you don't like, but I do know that you can skip my live and not comment at all. So I'll make that happen for you. See you later. Have a good day. All right. Now, back to this. Oops, I got a big first yard. Let's go listen to the rest of Benny. I'm going to sit back. I said most of my thoughts on this. If I have anything more to say, I'll chime in, but I'm going to try to get through this because I actually want to go over this live, and it's 2 hours long. I haven't watched the whole thing yet. I've listened to a lot of it, but it's the early days. Cher goes over some Ernie information. I believe there's some psychic information in here. Dawn comes on. There's a phone call. And I think these things are important to go back and listen to. Not because I want to attack a creator, but because it's the early days of the case. And we get to hear who was up on the hill first playing games and fucking around in this little girl's case. And it brings a lot of insight to who may be a suspect, because statistics show 80% of the time in a stranger or even a familiar, like, neighborhood abduction. Who remembers them girls? Gina De Jesus. What was the other one that came out? The guy was a bus driver for a school. He was in all kinds of musical stuff, yet he was out in the neighborhood sharing flyers and putting himself into that case. 80% of the time, statistics show there will be somebody that does that. And unfortunately, sadly, Summer's case is only really, really big on YouTube. So I'm going to assume if there is an abductor, that abductor is out here in YouTube somewhere watching us. And what I'd like to say to you, motherfucker, is fuck you. Your days are numbered. Okay. But let's go back and finish the last, I think it's 15, 20 minutes of Benny here. And then we're going to move on to this other live.
I can go a little harder on this area and maybe not on this for now. Like, I just, maybe selfishly, I think we deserve a little something too to help us do better. Because, you know, they give us so much shit, right? About the social medias and blah, blah, blah. Well, you haven't really given us anything, because there are lots of cases where social media has helped. Gabby Petito, you know? We can be helpful, just like help steer us.
The antagonist in me would definitely want to know, you know, what's going on. But then, of course, you know, the me that would, you know, certainly want justice for Summer is completely okay with never knowing any of the results or any of the, you know, inner investigative stuff that's going on. Right. I'm okay. You know, I'm okay either way. And I think really at this point, I kind of lean maybe more towards there not being any public release of information, you know, because I think that the public has had such a detriment, you know, on her situation for such a long time, you know, myself included even. You know, I'm not here to say that every single thing I ever did was absolutely helpful, right? So
yeah, but we don't know if we're helpful or not, right? So, I mean, the end. I mean, I know what you're saying, though. All of us have been kind of like, well, are we helpful? Like, I get it. Give me 1 second, though. What do you think? So, do you think this is a good idea, Benny?
No, yeah, I do, especially seeing how you have any sort of law enforcement input into the deal. I think that it's helpful. And then, you know, potentially the trickle down to it is, you know, maybe people will, you know, if the results play out like the first test for Fred, then, you know, maybe they'll kind of ease up on Fred and, you know, stop all the real life stuff and, you know, yada, yada, yada.
Yeah, I agree.
So I just want everyone to know I never said anything. I'm not sure where people are getting this from, but no. The polygraphs being canceled is false. I'll get into Annie B in a second here. I've got, because the officer had told me, have Andy and whoever I'm polygraphing to send me a text message that they are going to sign the consent, since I'm putting it together, paying for it, all of that, my card on the file, everything, right? So right now, my visa is on file for Fred. Still looking, because the one I had for Andy isn't right and it's far away from him. So we're getting Andy situated still. And Andy will be right around the same time as Fred.
Yeah.
I'll get to that in a minute. But here you guys go. It's not just out of my mouth. And Ziggy and Fred are listening. But
I made you a mod, so.
Is that Fred? Whoops, my bad. Okay, hold on. This one.
For the ones that's concerned about my lie detector, I don't know where the information is coming from or whatever, but I will be at my lie detector August the 4th, 9:30 with bells on.
October 4th.
Can't wait.
Wait. He means October 4th at 9:30.
Lie detector. I don't know where the information is coming from or whatever, but I will be at my lie detector August the 4th, 9:30 with bells on. Can't wait.
Well, I think that's the attitude he needs to have.
Yeah. That's the attitude he's given me since I've put all this into action. So.
Yeah, he's jumping at the chance to try and clear his name.
Yeah. So then Andy had come in, when we were live and doing all that. And he was like, I'll do it, set it up, whatever. And then it was a kind of, so at first Andy was kind of like, well, I don't know. Cher hasn't responded to me. What happened was I did not understand his text message. And so then I sent it to Ryan Finds Truth, because Ryan texted me and said, are you ignoring Andy? Like, you have not responded to him in like a month? And I was like,
Cher, I'd like to know what your relationship is with Squall Kid. How much conversations you've had with her since you're reaching out to Ryan, and Squall's the one that brought Ryan into this, in my opinion. Ryan was in my chat defending her. You got to remember she's the Frank Light person, and Ryan's running around with Andy. I find Ryan very fishy. I don't think that Ryan should be going to Florida to chase little kids on playgrounds. Guys. Look, here we go. I always get derailed by my own shit. I have to admit, much like Jody Sue, I was cracking the fuck up. Let's watch Ryan's failed grift. A question.
Guys, this part as much as I can because I'll be on e-bike. I don't have to hike. Hiking all of these cabins would be a nightmare. So having this e-bike to actually do this is a perfect opportunity. Thank you to TST e-bikes for giving it to us as a sponsored gift. So whew. Okay, that, my friends, was a downhill colossal wipeout. I'm not too bad off. I got some scrapes. I don't know. Well, you know what? I'm glad I listened to all of you because this is the first bike ride I took that I wore a helmet. Guess I needed it. Here's what happened. It looks like the caliper that held basically the front brake. I heard it start making weird noises, and I should have laid off the front brake, to be honest, because I'm like, something's going wrong. This doesn't sound good. Next thing I know, front wheel just locked up and twisted, and here's what it looks like now. came right off the bracket. Whew, that was crazy. Everything else is fine. Fender's obviously screwed up. Everything else is fine. So not sure what I'm going to do with this thing. I got to leave it and hike out. Long hike, but I've been here before. I know the way out. It's not a big deal. Thankfully, I didn't get hurt too bad. Didn't break anything.
Brian, you grifted the fucking bike like you did the boat and all your equipment and that fucking helmet you're probably wearing on your stupid ass fucking ugly head. In my opinion, I'm sorry. Let me make sure I say that. Bulldog face goes. You know, but my daughter has a bike like that. You should have probably read the directions. You're not supposed to ride them on rocks and dirt. They're made for the street because they're electric. You're not actually supposed to go up hills on them. You're a fucking idiot. And then you littered. You're in a national park where you always are looking for summer, and you leave the fucking bike there. You don't even have the decency to pick it up and take it out of the park. You're still a bitch, in my opinion. All right. Let's just watch him fall again. Look, the rock gets caught in the sprockets. That's what happens. And it makes the thing on his bike, the electric thing, go all whack job. And then he falls. Unreal. How many more things are you going to grip? Let's just watch him fall. I enjoyed it.
Guys, this part as much as I can because I'll be on e-bike. I don't have to hike. Hiking all of these cabins would be a nightmare. Gift. So.
You and your wife definitely give us a lot of entertainment. You stir shit. You stir the shit pot, the squall. You get rocks stuck in electric bike sprockets because you're too dumb to read the fucking instructions on the thing. In my opinion, I'm sorry. Let me say that I'm speculating. You're a dumbass. Maybe it's the aliens you're channeling or something, the UFOs. However.
What? And so I went back, and the reason was, well, he had texted me while I was at work, and then I talked to 100 other people, and I actually thought I was waiting for a response from him. But what it was is he sent me something, which you guys will see in the future, because I'm going to make everything transparent. These people know this. He said something about the poly, but I didn't understand it, so I was just like leaving it for later to get back to, I guess, and then I didn't. So then Ryan was like, you're ignoring Andy, and what's going on? So then I went right to Andy. I was like, hey, like, no, I just didn't understand what you were saying. But no. And then he was like, I'll do it if Fred does it. And then I was like, no, nah, that's not what you said. Like, it shouldn't be I'll do it if Fred does it, or I'll do it if Andy does it. You're both a grown ass men. And you came in my chat and said,
I agree. Why does Fred have to do it for you to do one, Andy? Why not just do one? Get it done and over with. The community can leave you alone. Oh, that's right. You take drugs. It wouldn't work. In my opinion. I think this is a waste. However, I don't think Fred's even going to show up to the motherfucker, but we'll see. You want to put money on it? I'll probably lose. Let's see if he does. But I bet you it's a no opinion, or I'm guilty as fuck, motherfucking I know knowledge, some shit. I don't know that Fred took summer, but I know his weird ass sister has made a lot of fucking weird ass statements.
Like, set it up, I'm going to do it. So,
hey, my link's up there. You're welcome to grab it, any of y'all, at any time.
So that's why I went. So then I went to Andy. All right, I will set it up for you. You tell me. Do you want to do it before Fred, after Fred, same time as Fred? And that's when Andy was like, yeah, you're right. Let's try and schedule it around the exact same time as Fred. So that's where we're at. Andy and Fred both are agreeing and doing it. I'm trying to find a place that's not going to cost me $1,500 for Andy Bernard. But Fred's a done deal. My card's on file. He is booked. For the people asking me, how dare you buy Ziggy and Fred food in a hotel? Well, guess what? It's 9:30 in the morning and it's an hour and a half away from them. So yes, I'm going to make sure that they have their, ride to and from. I'm going to make sure that they have something to eat, and I'm going to make sure that they have a hotel room so that they can go up. It's happening on a Saturday. Okay. October 4th is a Saturday.
Us, the community, Helen. However, I think what I need to say is I think it's worth it. In this one instance, I'm not going to attack Cher for grifting. Even though you guys know I have in the past, especially with Quentin's case, Cher and I do not see eye to eye on every case, on everything. Cher blocks me all the time. She cusses me out. Then she's nice, but she allows me to share her shit. I think she understands that everybody's here for the greater good and that we want answers for this baby, right? But I agree. Why not give Ziggy and Fred an outlet where they have no excuse to not show up? Your food's paid for. You can stay there overnight so you can get there. Like, I'm not going to down this. Now, I think, in my opinion, Cher needs to call TBI and let them know she's recording it. Fuck Lawson. And I think she needs to hear the TBI say that they're okay with her doing this and that it wouldn't hinder Summer's case. But it wasn't far. I think she said it was an hour, hour and a half from Ziggy's house, but she didn't want any excuse for Ziggy not to show up, in my opinion. And I agree. Like, listen, I'm broke. My husband ain't working. We're struggling to pay the bills. My electric got shut off the other day. I'm not going to come out here and grip from people. I appreciate the likes and the this and the that. And I have been really, really hard on Cher for her grifting. In most cases, this would probably be an attack for me. However, I want to see what happens. I just want to make sure it's okay with Ellie before it does. And I like the idea that there's no way for Ziggy to get out of it. Your hotel's paid for, your food's paid for. You have no reason not to show up to this. And I think we should do the same for Andy. He loves the grift. Dude, him and his wife, they'd love a honeymoon. Nobody paid for a honeymoon for them. Let's give them a honeymoon, Cher. Go grift for Andy, please. Let's see who shows up to these tests. Yeah, the honeymoon suite. Give it all to him. I actually agree with this time, and I can't believe I'm saying that. While you're at it, can we throw Karen Elliott in there? Dawn, Candace? Because here's the situation. Cher is correct. These things are offered to criminals to go outside to fight in court to have their attorneys. Like, attorneys can go order their own lie detector tests to use as a tool. It's a tool out there for the public, anybody. They offer them publicly online, in the phone books, in the newspapers. Now, are they all going to be on the up and up? I don't know. I think Cher should get the polygrapher to come on and do an interview with us and explain it to us a little bit. I don't know if that's possible, but I don't think this is a horrible idea. I'd love to see if Ziggy and Fred show up, and I think Ziggy needs to be polygraphed. That's just my opinion. I have a ton of questions for her. We could start with electric company questions and windmills and why she's on here doing all this money shit and her relationship with her parents, and did she live next to Pete Clark, and did she know Fred and Glenda and The Simpsons and Kathy Gordon Pryor? to come into YouTube, or did she just make friendships with them? Like, how the hell does it happen the way it does? Mrs. Green Card Marriage, we already know she's crooked and illegal from the go. She's already done things in her life that the normal average person don't do, right? All right. Yep, receipts are worth showing, especially at this point in the game. And you hear Mountain say we've been extremely creative. Maybe it's time we all get a little creative. I think it's time, even if we agree with what all of us creators do, as a whole, I think it's time to come together for this little girl, because we can see who's playing the games, and that's the locals. The locals that came to YouTube, like Nana and Squall and Annie and Scott, the psychics. There's been a lot of hoopla that has gone on in Summer's case. And I think maybe if the creators band together, we could do something about it, because they've sure taken their toll on making sure they destroy the creators' lives. Lawsuits and all kinds of crazy shit. Y'all met a Stanley. I don't fucking play. I ain't scared of none of y'all. And I think it's time we get some answers. Jody, I think you should want Fred to do this. You not wanting Fred to do that would mean that you would worry that Fred knows something about you or something. Like, it's just odd to me that you would be on here fighting this while you're making claims of Andy finding big, huge bags of meth. All the time. Like, they're just dropping from the fucking sky, dude. With his prepubescent girls and his porn where the girls look like they don't have. We just listened to it. Chase. Yeah. Chase for sure. Texas Twister, whatever the fuck his name is. Nita. Where you at, Nita? Why are you denying your kid, Nita? I heard you say it. We'll save that for another day. All right.
Okay, so they can go up Friday night, and there's no excuse. They're there, right by where they're getting polygraphed, go right from the hotel, and then they can go home after that. So, yeah, I mean, I knew I was going to catch hell from all over. We have had 2 donations. I'm paying $500 American. So altogether, I would say I have about $50 American. And as you guys know, that will also be completely transparent. I have deleted my PayPal, my everything. The only thing that I have is anything that I get from here, which is going to be whatever I get for September 21st. I will show you right now what I have coming to me. I'm telling you, I have shown my payment account many times. Anytime you guys catch me trying to fundraise, I'm going to be completely transparent. So I have that I will receive on September 21st, between September 21st to 25th. You guys, anyone who's a creator knows how this works. I will receive.
This is where Cher's Rift comes in for me. She's telling you what she's going to receive at the beginning of the month, and we still have 2-3 weeks to find out. So she's already got half the money if this is what she's going to put in. If she's grifting, Cher, I think you deserve your YouTube money to keep it. But I think you should be honest with your people and tell them, hey, I need an income. Can y'all send some money so we can get this done with Fred? Don't sit there and show us what you're making 3 weeks before YouTube stops it, because you're already halfway there. And damn, girl, you go, because I'm only at like $34. It fucking sucks. I never make my quota. I don't even get paid from YouTube. I do everything for free. How about that? Once in a blue moon, I get paid. What happens at the no-show? No, she doesn't get the money back. That's why I said, and she said that, and she said she's okay with losing the money because it would show something. And I agree with that. But that's why I would ask to crowdfund for it. I agree with share crowdfunding for it. Like, it's so weird. I can't believe I'm saying that. Usually this would be something I'm like, no, you're grifting. However, I think it's brilliant. I can't wait to see if Fred and Ziggy and Andy show up to this shit. So please, go pay for their polygraph. Let's see. Ziggy, did you know Mr. P. Clark? Y'all were neighbors, man. Why Ernie get all weird about the name Brenda Shell? Oh, yeah, that was his girlfriend. Oh, I forgot. Pete Clark's girlfriend, Brenda Shell. Ernie's mother's sister, or father's sister. He told us. I got it clipped. It was in the interview I did with him on his piano. The one I just showed a little bit ago. Yeah, there's more to that. Where Ziggy was Ernie's handler. Ziggy, who the fuck are you to handle anybody? I'd love to see you try to handle me, bitch. I really fucking would. Maybe you could wear your fuzzy pajamas with the big butt sticking out. Like, y'all should be ashamed of yourself even admitting that Ziggy could be your handler. A fucking crazy psychic that does crafts and anything to get money. Please give me money, please. I mean, Ziggy's drifted enough. Why ain't she on her channel fucking asking people to pay for these lie detector tests if they want them so bad? Her crew will send money, no fucking problem. She could probably even get a Kathy Gordon to pay for it for her, right? Or no, wait. Kathy has disappeared. Where the fuck is the bitch? Because she's connected to A-Johns and George Simpson, right? The ones wearing wiretaps in a fucking hotel while they're kidnapping people. But yeah, we don't know. This can't possibly be a ring.
$284.36, but I think my account is like negative $10, so I'll get like $270. So I'll go ahead and post that. You see that? Is that clear? $284.36 is what YouTube will pay me on September 21st. So I have half of Fred's payment right now. So I need about that much more to make sure I get this done for Fred. And then when I set up Andy, we'll talk then. But I have, so technically add another $50 on top of that. Okay. So that's where I'm at right now. And so my YouTube money, and then as well, I have my Cash App streaming on there on the banner, because that is the only link that I will be collecting funds for to help pay for what I'm doing. So, and that's that. And I'm going to keep the donors private until after both tests are done. And then whoever would like to remain anonymous shall, and whoever does not will obviously get a big shout out and a thank you for making it happen. Thank you so much, Aussie. So yeah, what are you thinking, bro? What you think?
That's good work, beautiful work. I mean, it's definitely being proactive, and again, like I said before, I'm reiterating, but I really hope that if the results come out the same for Fred as they did before, that the community might ease up and sort of just start looking somewhere else. I think that the YouTube is a lot. It always kind of has been, but I do also understand that everybody is probably frustrated and tired and ready for a conclusion for summer's sake. But I know that really it kind of spills over into a lot of the real life stuff I've been told that's been happening for Fred and for Ziggy. And again, like I said before, all opinions aside, I think the bulk of us are not here for Ziggy or for Fred or for Cher or Mark or anybody else. They came here for summer, right? And we're just kind of components around all of that. So, but yeah, that's really my opinion on it all. And I don't have too much more. I think the only other thing that I heard earlier today, somebody texted me and told me that Candace may or may not have left the Hill and went down to Georgia in search of work. And, if that's the case, best wishes to her and good luck.
The devil went down to Georgia.
I was just thinking that.
Yeah,
So
I've heard that too.
Yeah, all things aside, I think we've all known that the two of them were more like oil and water than anything else. So maybe that split will be a blessing for both of them.
So I didn't know my daughter-in-law was getting company, and there's a couple extra kids here, and they're running around. So when we're done watching Benny, I'm going to end this stream, but I'm going to come back tonight, and we're going to watch Candace's stream. I think I have it taken apart. I'm going to see if I can finish my video. If not, we'll just watch her stream, and then we're going to watch the other stream. It's like they already know exclusive call with Dawn Wells. I'm just going to leave the tab up, and I'll come back in a few hours, and we'll go over the rest of what I wanted to go over, but we're going to finish Benny up here. I've been on 2 hours, 16 minutes, and I have to give my grandbabies time to play with their friends. They're running around, and I don't want to shut them up. So I'm going to end this when Benny gets off, and it is 4. I'm going to come back probably, Cher's going live tonight with Ziggy. I wonder if they'd care if I streamed it live. Maybe we could do that. Stream Ziggy and Cher, and I'll pause. I'll wait a little bit until after, and then we can go over some of this other stuff. Maybe I'll take a nap so I can stay up longer. I have no, patience, ADHD maybe. I can't sit too long here and do this, even though I try all the time. Sometimes I get it. I think the most I've ever done was, 5? No, I did a 24-hour stream one time. Holy shit, that was something. But anyways, I think I made it to 16 hours. I tried to make it to 24. But we'll finish Benny off here, and then I'll come back tonight at some point. I'm going to go downstairs and coerce with my family, see when the friends leave and when we're going to have dinner and all that. And I'll type, and when Cher and Ziggy, I think I'm going to come live with them, and then we can continue on from there, or it'll give me something to cover tomorrow. We'll figure it out. I don't want to ruin Cher's live with Ziggy tonight. So maybe after they're live, I'll come on. Either way, I'm coming live again tonight and tomorrow, because I have so much to cover. You don't understand the amount of clips I've been clipping. I can't even get a video made because I get confused. I hear one thing and I want to make another video, and then I want to make another one and another one. Sometimes it's just better to come live and just show you. Okay. And I will post that Jody Sue video tomorrow. So please watch it again.
Chat is ecstatic to hear you.
Mm-hmm.
I do appreciate everyone's well wishes, and I do want to take a moment to say that, I'll be around a little bit, and I may do some live streaming here and there, but it's going to be solely true crime. I'm not here to, battle it out, swing axes and swords with, old internet enemies or any of that. I want to stay, in the solution.
Benny, I agree. I want to see if you can make that happen. I'd rather you stay in the solution too, as well as me and everybody else, but I think that you and I need to have a conversation soon. I think it's important that we do, considering I probably know information you don't about the We Can Bring You Hope people, and you probably have information I don't, because these are people I know in real life. And I started bringing that out, 2-3 years ago with Kelly Fustos, when I found out she was a cousin to the best man at my wedding, who's a dirty-ass McKeesport cop, in my opinion. But I can't talk about that shit on here because it's dangerous to my life, and I get harassed by police. Judges' sons, threats of being pew-pewed from a roof. Somebody's on my roof. Hi, Brian O'Toole, how you doing? How's your fucking judge dad? Oh, I know your secrets too. You guys can go look those names up. I can't really talk about them. But I can come on here and taunt them a little bit, right? Alright. Let's finish this up.
Not the problem. So that's kind of where I'm at. And,
I
if I
was
don't,
so disappointed what people did to you. And there's a reason why, but anyway, I'm glad that your voice is back.
What did
And
do to him?
I kind of went mute
He
for
did.
a while you're gone too, because
I think Benny would admit, Cher, that Benny did this to himself, following Dawn, Candace, and hey, Angel on Earth, following Dawn, Candace, and Tim and doing things for them. I think Benny's an adult and he knows right from wrong, and I think that he was in trouble because he was on here fighting with his ex, and it's resulted in him not having much contact with his child. It's broken Benny's heart. We've all sat back and watched it, but I think as a man and as somebody who would be responsible, Benny could say, I did it to myself. So don't come on here and sympathize for Benny, because Benny definitely did create his own damn problems, just like I have. Just like anybody who has been here on the YouTube has done, because there's no blueprint for this shit, right? Like, we're not professionals. We don't know what's going to happen, and we want to come out here and help. But maybe sometimes along the way, we make mistakes in doing so. I've made tons. However, Benny has done things to many people, including myself. And I'm still willing to forgive Benny, but I want fucking answers. Or the attacks will start again. We can start putting the clown faces on and all that other shit. But I think Benny has seen my comments to his videos, and he knows where I'm at, and he's not confirming or denying anything with me, and he knows what's going on. Benny can grab a link on my channel at any time. He has. I've always allowed Benny to come on my panel. I don't think Benny was attacked. I think Benny attacked. And I think Benny would be man enough, I would hope, Benny would be man enough to say I'm sorry to a lot of creators. I think let bygones be bygones is fine. And I like how Benny has finally come out here and started, like last night, it seemed to me he's really going in a direction it should go. Right to Candace, in my opinion. Please rewind and watch my thoughts on that earlier. Candace, where's your kid? Cher, quit simping for Benny. Benny knows what he did.
Yeah, that's all people want to do is just bash. And that's why I just started coming back like in this last month, I'd say last couple of weeks. And I just exactly same as you. Like, that's not, summer's still gone. And that's been going on for over 4 years, just thrashing at each other. And she's still missing.
Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah, I hear my audio is kind of bad. My phone is almost dead, and I've got it on the charge. So I'll let you guys get back to it. And thank you for having me. And we will definitely do it again very soon.
Absolutely. I'm
yeah.
so happy that you're back. I'm happy that life is going up for you.
I am too. I'm actually pleased Benny's back, and I think we'll get some answers because he was extremely close with the Wells. So was she. I think we need them to come out and tell us the things they've been involved in, where they, in my opinion, have been pulled in from people involved with Summer's parents. And in my opinion, they're bad people. But I'm going to end this here. Benny's getting off. There's not really much more to watch to this. Like I said, I'm going to come back tonight. We're going to go over, it's like they already know, exclusive call with Dawn Wells. I'm going to put that in the front here. I also want to go over, I need everyone here. We found PG and Kathy once and for all. So I'm going to leave that up as well. And I want to go over Candace's live from the other day. So I will see you at some point tonight. I don't know. I'm going to look and see how things go. I have to go see what's going on with my family. And I don't want to disturb Ziggy and Cher because I think it's important that Ziggy and Fred go for these polygraphs. However, I would like to know if Fred's going to be drug tested prior to the polygraph. And I spoke about that earlier as well. Because I don't think the polygraph's worth you taking in money, Cher, if we're not going to know that he's given a real result that's not drug-induced. All right, guys. Peace and love. I'll see you later tonight. I will, I promise, Angel. Catch up on my live here. Watch the videos I've been posting over the last few days. Sorry I've been absent. Like I said, I think it's been COVID. It's been horrible, and it's been going on for weeks. But I'm going to try to come more often now, because I do have a ton to cover. I just got to get my thoughts together. All right, guys. Peace and love. See you later tonight. Bye.